Hello and welcome. You're watching The Big Fight. This is the oldest running debate show on Indian news television. It is not 24 years old, but young at 24. I'm Sanket Upadhyay. Now we thought that of course we discuss a lot of politics, international affairs and all those things on The Big Fight. But then there is something else which is also dominating the headlines. For those who are living under a rock, you must know that there is a World Cup which is going on. And in that World Cup, India has shown some spectacular performance. Absolutely great. And a record number of people are watching these matches also. I mean, if you watch on those platforms, online platforms, you will see 2.5 crores, 3 crores people watching these matches. There are some big upsets as well as the big surprises also in this World Cup. But we'll get to that later. Let's stick to India for the moment. Its performance initially, and there is still a lot of road to cover, has forced many of the supporters to come to a conclusion that this is the best team ever. Now let's tell you the arguments in favor of this argument. Why people feel that this is the best ever cricket team. Let's put that on the screen right now. Number one, strong bench strength. Equally good replacements. IPL and domestic cricket acts as a feeder machine for this team. There is no dearth of good top order batters. Rituraj Gaikwad, Yashasvi Jaiswal, Ishan Kishan, all waiting in the wings. Let's take a look at India's pace factory. Bumrah, Siraj, Shami are all backbone of this team's pace attack. There's a variety of spin options as well. Kuldeep, Jadeja, Ashwin, Chahal, all match winners. Fielding, according to these people who feel that this is the best team yet, is at par with the best. Reached the World Test Championship final twice in a row, and this team has an extremely aggressive approach on the field. So all in all, according to this constituency, this is the best team ever. But is that really the case? Because there is another constituency which greets this optimism with some amount of skepticism. Let's give you their viewpoint, shall we? So on the screen, why some people feel that they're good, but don't call them the best side just yet. They have no ICC trophy win, this combination. Mahendra Singh Dhoni won most of the ICC titles, hence his side was the best. 1983 team defined an era. They beat West Indies, who were the reigning champions back then. I don't even know what the West Indies are doing right now. Team 1983 changed the pace of Indian cricket. And this constituency feels that we need better temperament in longer formats like ODIs. This is perhaps a very T20 friendly team and perhaps not fit for a contest like ODI. Imagine what this constituency will have to say about Test cricket if they find ODI format a misfit for this team. Which forces us to ask this question on The Big Fight and also put this poser across to a variety of experts on this show. Is this India's best ever cricket team? What is your view? We've asked this question on social media platforms as well. You can participate. We are going to showcase some of your responses and get in a response from our experts. Let me introduce our guests one by one. We have Mr. Sabah Karim, former cricketer. Thank you very much, Sabah Karim sahab, for joining us.
Cheers, sir.
Rakesh Rao, senior sports journalist, is with us. So is Mr. Vijay Dahiya, former cricketer. Thank you very much for joining us. Gautam Bhattacharya, senior sports journalist. Saji Chako in the studio, consulting editor, Blitz India and senior sports journalist. And Osama Shab, our very own Osama from NDTV. Thank you very much. He will fill in when I fumble, as it happens in the team. So thank you very much for joining us.
I'm the 12th man. Huh? I'm the 12th man.
No, you're the main player.
You have 2 wicket keepers as well.
No, Osama is the impact player in T20 concept.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so for the format of this game, let's make you aware. We start with what we call is the first punch, where each of you gentlemen will get 1 minute of time for your opening comments and to perhaps choose a side. Do you think this is the best team or not, or do you feel that this is not the best team or not? So we'll first begin with you, Sabah Sahab, and let me also tell you before you begin, we asked this question as a poll on our social media platforms. I actually thought that there will be so much enthusiasm, this will be hardly a debate, 99% of India will say this is the best. To my surprise, the answer is smack in the middle. 50% feel best, 50% feel no, they're not the best. What's your view?
Let me try and, draw some kind of a line in between.
Play it safe.
Play it safe. First up, Sanket, I think let's try and categorize this side in white ball cricket and red ball cricket. And I want to be more specific. Let's look at this side as a team. Is it the best in one-day cricket or not? So in terms of this, I feel that they have the makings to become the best side because of X number of reasons. We can talk about their bowling strength, fast bowling attack, look at their middle order composition, look at the top order stability, and all that we can discuss. They're almost at the cusp of achieving this greatness, but eventually what matters in the end is this side capable of winning the big games or not? Knockout matches, semi-final and the finals. If this Rohit Sharma-led side can win this World Cup 2023, then I think they will be almost close to becoming the best side, because these are tough times for Indian cricket in sense that one-day cricket is changing at a rapid pace. So for India to keep pace with that, it needs a lot of temperament, a lot of skill work, and also that aggressive approach that Rohit Sharma has shown so far.
Mr. Daya, your views?
Personally, if you ask me, I don't like comparing two sides or comparison. I'm not big on that. But if you look at the side which played 83 and won the World Cup, that side gave you so much of a belief that you're not only participating, you can compete. If you compare that notion to the current side, what will happen if we win here? Can we generate anything new which was created in 83, if there is a comparison that we talked about? But if I look at this side, and I say, when we say, is this the best team ever? What excites me as an ex-cricketer, that I've not seen a bowling unit, and I'm especially saying about the fast bowlers, the luxury of almost hardly got injured. Otherwise, the luxury of having 4 to 5 fast bowlers who can bowl 140 plus, and that's what is making this team really special. Sabha has just touched upon the difficulty or the challenges in one-day cricket. We have what it takes as far as the ODI cricket is concerned, that taking advantage of those middle overs where it's very difficult for the bowlers, but we have the bowling unit, and that's the reason why the people are talking about this side is one of the best.
Okay, Saji George.
Sanket, expletives and we give all these figuratives that the best. So I think we should hold our horses a bit back actually. Of course, everything is going well for India. 5 out of 5 we won. It's a 100% victory record. But for me, there's a small hitch here. We haven't run up against an opposition or a team which has really scored a massive, run chase. We're not involved in a major run chase, which actually can stand testimony to. Of course, against Australia, the argument can be we were 3 down for nothing. And before KL Rahul and Virat bailed us out with those fantastic partnership. But yes, as an extension of what Vijay Dhaya said, that the bowling is fantastic. It's like amazing. The fast bowling department, if you see, if I were to pick, I think this probably for me, that's the best part of the whole Indian team, or one of the main reasons or the contentions why we can say that this team should be among the best, or if not the best. Batting also, if you see the batting also, all the top batters have performed very well. So far, so good. So far, so good. But then there's a pause here.
Yeah.
What happens next? So I think let's leave it on to that.
Let's leave it there. Huh? But as far as I'm concerned, that's where the big fight begins. That's where the debate begins.
One should not forget, about a month back before this World Cup started, India was all over the place. We didn't have the right kind of composition because of injuries to some of the big players. Right. But suddenly good for India that things have fallen in place. Bumrah back in the side in rich vein and form. KL Rahul back to his best as a wicketkeeper batter. So all these things have come together at the right time for India.
Okay. Gautam Bhattacharya and Rakesh Rao with your opening comments. Gautam, you go first.
Yeah. I'm sorry, there is a bit of an audio issue, but from what I can gather, it's basically, it's a very, very subjective thing, as we are saying that whether this one is the best. But in, one of your promos that you have answered the question when you said that, well, they need to win this ICC trophy, which had been eluding them for the last decade, to be called the best. So to that extent, I would keep the 2011 combination slightly ahead of this one. But the way things are going for them, they haven't put their foot wrong. So maybe, if there is a tougher match, as the New Zealand match was threatening to be, we would know the test of character for this team. But so far, it really looks unbeatable.
Okay, Mr. Rakesh Rao.
Well, for me, this team is definitely not the best. Clear. Okay. Why? That is because I have seen teams which are far more, more competent than this team when it came to, right from the strength up front, the bowlers, as a fielding unit, people who gave more than what the world expected of them. Obviously, I'm referring to the 1983 team. But thereafter, even the 1987 team was a brilliant one, where we lost in the semi-finals. But I thought, if you look at the strength of the team, the capabilities, yes, that was a fantastic team. Then again, in 2007, we had a good side, where, of course, we lost very early. But in terms of the strength of the team, again, a good side. 2011, of course, we won. But this particular team, why I'm saying that, why I don't agree with this, is because this particular team, it has the kind of thing that so far we haven't really got, we haven't shown that character except in one match. And for me, a team is not the one where it is winning with ease. Of course, it is not your fault if the opposition is not performing at its best. But I think I'll wait. I'll just hold my horses for a minute.
Okay. We also have Ritinder Sodhi, former cricketer, with us. Mr. Sodhi, we just saw Mr. Rakesh Rao, who, for the purposes of this debate, has shared all forms of diplomacy about this team being the best. But what's your view?
Look, it's very difficult to say as for now, but definitely this team is right on the track, doing so well, winning all the important games, and we are just on the verge of reaching semi-finals. And I will hold my horses till we win the World Cup. But even if in hindsight, I just think that whether it will be a best team after winning this World Cup, I'm sure it might not be, because then we are comparing it with the teams of 1983, 2011, our World Cup winning sides led by Kapil Dev, and in 2011 we had Sachin Tendulkar's, Gambhir, Yuvraj Singh's. So that was again a very big team. So I'm sure at the moment we should wait, because still a lot of things are left in this World Cup, because knockout games, I agree, so far in league games we have been in top-notch form. But once knockout arrives, we have seen bigger teams somehow struggling. So I sincerely hope, keep my fingers crossed, that India should come home victorious in the knockout stage and we reach finals and win the World Cup. But still we have some time here.
Sabah Karim Sahib, I'll come to Osama and know your view. Let's just hope that you are...
Well, I'll tell you what, we could be having a completely different discussion right here if Mitchell Marsh would have taken that catch of Virat Kohli in that Australia match. And things would have been very, very different. A lot of these people who are saying that this is possibly the greatest...
better than the best. Yeah.
Better than the best, and every other adjective that you can add. I think we could be having a very different discussion right now. But having said that, this Indian team, it looks like a complete team. We haven't come up against oppositions like Sabha mentioned, like the other panelists have mentioned. We haven't come up against opposition that can give us a run for the money. Against New Zealand, yes, but that was also, in a way, a one-sided game for us. So, like everyone agrees on this, until and unless we win an ICC trophy with this team, to call it the best ever cricket team, best ever Indian cricket team, I think that is a little far-fetched.
Little far-fetched. Okay.
So, I have have to leave in just 2 minutes. I just wanted to add.
Sure, please.
Amal,
You may want to weigh in now. Yes, Mr. Dahiya.
I'm just saying, it's two different things here. Are we talking about the best team, or are we looking at the result-oriented team? Sometimes you can win with.
No, I agree. I think that's a very intelligent assessment, Mr. Dahiya. The point that is being made here is whether we are, as a combination, as a team, result irrespective, the best team.
But that what just Osama said there, of that catch, and we wouldn't have having this discussion. We are having this discussion because of the results that has been produced and the way we are playing. And the other thing is sports. Impact of sports in society makes so much of a difference. What happened in '83, the impact. We're sitting here, ex-cricketers or whatever, or wherever we are because what happened in '83. That was the impact. Even if we win here, this World Cup, what will be the impact? I'm talking on those lines. And when we talk about the great...
But should that be seen as a reflection of the quality of these players? I mean, I can understand we view, the performance of teams with a little bit of, the spectacles of nostalgia. But would that necessarily be a correct assessment?
I'll just say one thing that, even now, we're not a sports-loving nation. We are a result-oriented nation.
Yeah.
That's the point.
I look at it in a different way altogether, Sanket. My point is that when I look at the best side in all sports across eras, so I'm looking at domination of that sport in a particular decade or in an era. For instance, why is it that even now we feel that the Australian white ball cricket side that ruled world cricket started in 2003, then 2007, then there was a gap, then again 2015 they came back and won the World Cup. So has any Indian side ever achieved that? We are still far away from that. So even if India goes on to win this World Cup, can we call this the best side? I do have my doubts about that. But if India can continue...
Are you referring to some sort of a law of averages?
No, I'm talking about...
over an extended period?
Yes, absolutely. I'm talking about dominating cricket over a period of at least 5 to 6 years.
So has that happened?
It has not happened so far. Is this team capable of doing that with 2 or 3 changes in the 11? So Australia has done that already. They won the 2003 World Cup, won the 2007 World Cup with hardly 1 or 2 changes here and there. And in between, they also won the Champions Trophy. India, the 2011 winning side, we won the 2011 World Cup and then we went on to win the Champions Trophy 2013. So we almost, getting close to that. But then eventually, we fell apart after that and we've yet to win an ICC trophy. So yes, I think you need to win ICC trophy, but more importantly for me, you need to dominate world cricket over a period of time.
Saji George, do you feel that the argument for or against whether we are the best side or not should be done in separate buckets? Number one, are we the best side ever when you're comparing it with the previous Indian teams? Or are we the best side ever when you compare them with other teams in this contest?
See, comparison is a very subjective thing, Sanket. And Vijay Dahiya just mentioned one thing which is a very valid point, that the 83 team, that win was a watershed event. It changed the entire dynamics of sport. Forget about cricket. So you can never compare that 83 will always remain there. It's a different thing now.
Which is why
coming to your point,
it may not be a right comparison also.
Precisely. So what I'm trying to say, Sanket, is that look, when you are comparing, nostalgia invariably comes in the way. You can't prevent it. But we are comparing the Indian team. When you talk about the best team, it's not just performance related, but even the players, how they perform, the longevity of the players. Like I'll tell you one thing: the main performers, Ravindra Jadeja, 34. Then we have got Virat Kohli, 34. Rohit Sharma, 36. So, look, for me, it's a red flag. Where are the youngsters? That's a very flip of the, sort of a question which we were asked. Why is it that all the time we are only leaving the time-tested veterans to do it? Why not the youngsters? Why not somebody like a Shreyas Iyer jumps onto the bandwagon? What's preventing? So for me, again, the comparison, as Sabha said very clearly.
No, so are you of the opinion that we have not been able to build that?
Exactly, Sanket.
Next generation of cricketers?
We have not, the transition has not been smooth or not exactly to the level which we want, which we would have wanted. Like he mentioned about
Wasn't
Australia.
this always the case? Sabah Karim, I mean, this is something which has ailed Indian cricket for, a Sachin Tendulkar, the dependency on him continued for a very long time. Mahendra Singh Dhoni was the savior, messiah of Indian cricket, or considered so by his fans for the longest time. What you see on your screen right now are India's top 5 teams of all times. And in each of these times, I think Saji's argument may be valid that you're not thinking beyond these very men.
I don't think it works like that anymore. We have a very strong bench strength, and you mentioned that in your introduction also, Sanket. We have some very excellent youngsters coming through the system. Shreyas Iyer is one of them.
Correct.
What Shaji is actually stating is that can someone like Shreyas Iyer play a match-winning knock or not in this World Cup? And I think that will happen. Whether it is Shubman Gill, I mean, look at Shubman Gill. He's become a mainstay now in all 3 formats. You have someone like Yashasvi Jaiswal waiting. You have Tilak Verma. You have Ruturaj Gaikwad. Look at our pace bowling quartet. Right now, we have Shami, we have Siraj, we have Jasprit Bumrah, we have Navdeep Saini, we have Prasidh Krishna, you have Mukesh Kumar. There are so many young speedsters. You have Arshdeep Singh. Same with our spinners. Right now, we have Jadeja, we have Kuldeep Yadav, but we also have, we have also added R. Ashwin, but among the youngsters, you have Washington Sundar, you have Shahbaz Ahmed, you have Raksar Patel. There are so many youngsters just waiting. I think, see, the best part about this side is there is a healthy competition, but all those senior or experienced players, they are still performing. So you possibly can't leave them out of the side, and they remain the backbone of the side, whether it is Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, Ravindra Jadeja, Jasprit Bumrah, or Mohammad Shami. So I think that is the most notable feature of this side. And getting back to your point about 1983 World Cup win, it also depends on the kind of prism through which we are trying to look. So 1983, it was a watershed moment, everybody agrees with that. But was 1983 World Cup winning side the best ever Indian side or not? Because after that, with due respect, after that we did not perform so well. So again, I go back to my earlier point that I would always define a team's greatness depending on the era that they have dominated. And I think whether it is the 1983 side or whether it is this side, what happens next after this with a couple of changes here and there, can we go on to dominate world cricket or not?
Yeah, that's interesting. Rakesh Rao, let me bring you in now. You see the point that Sabah Karim is making, that every win or every team is a creature of its time, right? Considering this team as a product of this present format of cricket, and there, as you were suggesting in an earlier broadcast, there have been changes between the 2011 win of India World Cup. There have been certain changes which have been introduced in World Cup cricket. Given these changes, one is that statistically you put a best team together. That when you look at Ankara dekhte ho, so you feel that yes, on paper this is a perfect team, near perfect. But then how do all these pieces stick together like a nice Lego set, properly set to look good?
I think for me, see, first of all, Vijay Dahiya talks about the impact that the 1983 team won, and that's why he's keeping it right there. Sabah says that the team has to win a certain number of ICC trophy, it has to be dominant over a period of time, so he looks at it differently. Sabah, Saji Chacko is also looking at this team not getting that kind of opposition, or it is not being pushed to a corner where it shows its character. All right. Now the point here is, what are we talking about? We're talking about the best team in one's opinion. Now, to substantiate that, or to actually strengthen that argument, like one way or the other, you'll have your reasons. For me, when you speak and when you ask me this question, is this the best team? My point is very clear. When I say 1983 team, yes, it made an impact. It changed the nation's, way of thinking. From a hockey-loving country, we became a cricket-crazy country. Not a sports-loving country. It didn't impact Indian sports in that way. It just shifted that thing because our hockey guys are doing badly, so we remember it. Of course, it's the first one. And talking about the best team in order to win the ICC trophy, let's look at 1983. We were not the strongest team. In 87, Australia was not the strongest team. In 1992, Pakistan was not the strongest team. In 1996, Sri Lanka was not the strongest team, and so on. No, what I'm trying to say is, you don't have to be the best team in the world to win the World Cup or to win an ICC tournament. Let's get this pretty straight. Now, we are talking about whether you are dominant. Yes, just because you become world number one doesn't make you a dominant country. Just look at Pakistan. Just a few days ago, they were world number one. And today, they are being, they've been criticized, they've been trolled, they've been smashed to smithereens by their own cricket lovers. The reason is it is just a knee-jerk reaction. For example, we are talking about whether this team is India's best ever. Let me just take you back to the beginning of the Asia Cup. When the team left for Sri Lanka to play the Asia Cup, we were not even sure. This team looked like a half-cooked combination. It is just that we grew in confidence, we ticked a lot of boxes along the way, and then we not only played the Asia Cup well, we beat Pakistan by 228 runs. That was for me a huge turning point, just because it gave the confidence that this team so badly needed. Thereafter, we have had a fantastic start. Of course, we have not only played Asia Cup well, we won the Asia Cup. Now that I want to underline. That confidence we have brought in here, and suddenly after 5 matches, we are saying that this is the best combination. The best ever. It is a winning team. We are only now getting influenced by the results. Now, the same question, if you had asked an Australian cricket lover after 2 matches where the Australian side slept at the bottom of the points table for one night, now suddenly after 3 wins, we are saying they are among the strongest contenders. So we are getting influenced by the results. So let's set the parameters for this debate. That let's not put in different values for different assessment and say that is this the best? Yeah, each one of us will have their reasons and each one will be justified. So I'm still a bit confused as to what are we trying to answer here.
Yeah.
Best team based on what parameters? I'm still confused, Sanket. So I just want some clarity. Even I know that the show
now
is
post
almost
your answer.
over.
Even I am confused.
Please offer some more clarification to Rakesh.
I think you should clarify it.
Ritinder Sodhi, how did you as a player, and let me ask this to Sava Karim also, insulate yourself from this 140 crore parallel commentaries running about you, your form, your hand, your feet, your footwork? How do players do it?
And it never stops.
And by the way, he had a double role to play. He was an all-rounder.
Yeah.
So he had to look after his batting and bowling both.
Exactly.
Look, Sanket, this is very difficult. You have rightly put in expectations of millions of people, commentators, experts. It's very difficult. At the same time, as Rakesh Bhai has been putting on some very valid points, that what it is all about. Is it result oriented? But I really feel, as there's an old saying, if winning and losing doesn't matter, why did they keep scores? So it's all about results. So I have a very strong feeling that at this time, at this notch, definitely you really see so many things. If they win the World Cup, they might not be best. If you ask me which has been the better team, which is nearing the best, it has to be the 83 team, because Sabha Bhai will agree with me. At this time, at that time, there was no infrastructure whatsoever. We were playing on wet wickets, no physios, no trainers, nothing whatsoever. Now we have everything. The coaching staff is full of 20 people, more than the team. So I'm sure playing in that era was very difficult.
Yeah,
I think let me put a question across to everyone on the panel. As if you're given a choice between, say, for example, a Saurav Ganguly's team and MS Dhoni's team, a Kapil Dev's team, and a Rohit Sharma's team, which team would you prefer to field in this?
Please keep me out of this.
This is
safest answer.
There is a
recusing himself.
There is a reason why.
I know, of course I know. There is a reason, a very obvious reason. But Saji, would you like to take this?
That's a very tough
Because I think the point that was made was nothing succeeds like success.
Absolutely.
If you win,
Absolutely.
people will sing praises.
Right.
If you lose, then God save you.
But that is perfectly fine. I mean, why are we being distracted from the fact that a team to become great and a team to become best,
the parameter is
compete.
victory.
Yeah, you compete at the best tournament. And right now in white ball cricket, it is either the World Cup T20 or the ODI World Cup, or in Test matches, it is the World Test Championship. So you have to win such important tournaments before even thinking that you're the best or not.
Yeah. Before we all forget, he asked a very, very important question. Pointed, potentially controversial. Need your reply.
Once again, I'll be repetitive to the point of being repetitive. It's a very difficult question. But for me, Sanket, there is one thing. let's not forget Sachin Tendulkar, how long he had to wait to be crowned a world champion or finally get the World Cup. That poser in itself, I think. So for somebody like Rohit Sharma, who's beaten all the records or was on the cusp of that World Cup, that elusive World Cup title win, I think makes a lot of difference between on the resume or when you see their post-retirement or when you have a look at their careers, So, but coming to what Osama said, which team? I think for me, if I keep my emotion out, if I think from my brain strictly, I think Kapil's Devils. For me, I think they redefined.
Are you sure that's not your heart talking?
Not at all, because I think that time, as I think a panelist previously also said, there was little or no infrastructure. We were not only we were the darkest of the horses. We beat West Indies, the mighty West Indies in the very first match.
Yeah.
It was like on a 9.5 on a Richter scale.
Yeah.
Something which we have yet to witness. And so coming back to what Osama said, I think for the sheer magnitude, if you think, Sanket, or if you have to quantify it, I think 1983. Yeah. Nothing has happened before or after.
Okay. Gautam Bhattacharya, let's quickly get him in also.
Yes, Sanket, it's very clear that the generation which we grew up in, we will be tempted to keep 1983 at a different level altogether.
Pedestal.
Subsequently, in a team, this is a question which Rakesh raised. If we take man-to-man kind of a comparison, this 2011 team didn't have a Bumrah, didn't have a Hardik Pandya, but you have got these characters like a Munaf Patel or a S. Risham. If all the jigsaws come into place and help you forge a winning combination in your conditions, the kind of role that Suresh Raina played, for example, coming at number 7 and bowling his part-time spin ability. So that is the team which has to be given the weightage as the best team. So in the post-1983 generation, I will say that Dhoni's team, which won the World Cup, and also Ganguly's team, which went as far as the final against real quality opposition in 2003 in South Africa, before they got whitewashed by Ponting and his men. These are the two teams which I'll keep at a different.
Let's try and turn this around. What about 2011 team featuring in the 1983 World Cup? How would they have performed?
Fantastic.
Do we cover all the bases that there or not? So we have one of the best captains, arguably the best captain, maybe after Kapil Paji, MS Dhoni. We had Sachin Tendulkar, we had Virat Kohli, an upcoming Virat Kohli, we had Gautam Gambhir, Yuvraj Singh, Suresh Raina, full of all-rounders. We had Zahir Khan, we had Harbhajan Singh, we had Munaf Patel, a kind of a complete side. But how would they have fared in 1983 World Cup against the mighty West Indies? So that is debatable, isn't it? That's a very interesting discussion.
I think it is also to do with the fact that the kind of personalities that were present in the 1983 team, I think that is something that we have been looking for in all the other teams.
No, but then see, don't you remember, Saji, the conversation that we are having, this is again nostalgia at play.
Exactly.
You're talking about the grandness of the 1983
No,
team.
it's not just about nostalgia. It's about the kind of
occasion. But you're talking about the occasion. With due respect to all of us, all of us here and their views. See, we are looking at 1983 as a defining moment in Indian cricket. There is no doubt about that. All of us, when we watched that encounter and that World Cup, we were so invigorated because of India's success. And that is how we also felt that which we can work hard and turn out to play for the country. So that is a different concept altogether. But that is how the game has evolved. Not only cricket, all sports have evolved. So let's look at the achievement not through these eyes, but on a very parallel kind of a platform.
Okay, tell you what, let's quickly come back to the present from 1983. And let me put out on our social media platform, as I said at the very beginning, we asked this question to many of our viewers. And on your screen, you will see one such comment, not question, because of course, cricket fanatics or cricket lovers they don't question, they opine, right? And they have strong opinions. So this is Shiva. On X, he says, this is the best fast bowling team India has ever had, slightly better than Srinath. Let's turn this around, let's see what he says.
Zahir.
Nehra and Zahir from 2003 World Cup. But there are few areas which they lack to be termed the best team of all times. Number one, middle order fragility. Still no replacement for Mahendra Singh Dhoni and Yuvraj Singh. Number two, none in the top 5 can bowl. Does he have a number 3? Let's find out. Does Shiva say something else? Okay, that is his assessment. Sabah Karim, you go first and then Mr. Sodhi. What do you make of this assessment? Especially on MS Dhoni and Yuvraj Singh.
Valid call here, because with MS and UV, the side looked so complete because we had these two fabulous finishers, and they did that on so many occasions during the World Cup, even before that. And one of the biggest reasons why India fared so strongly in 2011 World Cup was the contribution of MS Dhoni and Yuvraj Singh. Fast bowling, 2007, I think 2003 was that Srinath, and then we had Zahir Khan, we had Ashish Nehra. That was one of the best pace bowling attack. Well, in this World Cup, Sanket, we have only used 3 pace bowlers only once. So otherwise, we have used Siraj and Jasprit Bumrah. So I think it is still premature to say that this is the best or the best fast bowling attack so far. We'll have to come against some stronger batting opposition to term it like that. But I think that class of Zahir and Srinath and Ashish Nehra, that was a fabulous
and try them
combination.
out completely in the qualifying phase.
Yes.
And not at the time of the semi-finals.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Mr. Sodhi, what is your view?
Yeah, just to Shiva, that it might not be very fair to compare Srinath, Zahir and Nehra of that era. They had venom, they were terrific, they were quick. And now when we compare with the bowlers of this era, we might have to give some time. And just Sankit, one thing, I've been listening to Sabah and I've been listening to him since years now. You just asked Saji and he came up with a straight answer that 1983 team was the best. And Sabah is coming on the game as a ball. And we also know it as a ball. Sabah, now you have to come up and tell us which is the best team. Come on, stick your neck out.
No, I have done that already. I don't think this is the best side. There's so much more to achieve.
Which is the best one? Which is the best one?
No, that I've recused myself.
The idea is not to put him in a spot.
I was being labelled by Saket as the one who had overstepped all limits of diplomacy. You have remained there. You haven't even decided to.
He has restored all the limits of diplomacy.
Completely.
Now the point is, you are saying this is not the best team, and you are refraining from saying that which is the best team, which is fair, because the kind of position that you are in life today. You are not supposed to, you are supposed to sit on the fence and you are firmly there, which is perfectly fine. Now, my point is, when we are talking about 83 World Cup, why are we only looking at 83? That team went on to win the Rothmans Cup after being bowled out for 125, I remember. We restricted Pakistan to 87 all out. We won that. We went to, Australia. We won the World Championship of Cricket, almost the same unit. Now, that was the team which at that time, there were at least half a dozen teams which was stronger than India. And we did well against them. Today, we are among the top 4 teams because there is no 5th or rather the 6th team which is strong enough. Just look at this World Cup. What's happening? England is still among the top 5 teams. I don't think Pakistan can get into the top 5, though it is ranked 2nd in the world. That is because the world rankings are, we can always question it, but this is not the forum for me to, question the world ranking thing. But look at the teams, the quality of teams. There is no Sri Lanka anymore. There is no West Indies. There are still teams in transition. Bangladesh is no longer a threat. They can have their one good day in 6 months. That's all. Because now you see world cricket, it's no longer 9-10 teams there. We can only pick a handful of teams and the best among them is going to be crowned the champion. So when you go back to 83, 84, 85 and so on, where Indians were nowhere before the 1983 World Cup, how many matches did we win? Forget about winning tournaments. We, I think, won one match in 1975 and I don't remember winning anything in 1979. But what I'm again trying to say is, when you look at things with the help of some perspective, you'll have clarity. Instead of only looking at whether we dominated, we won against odds and we didn't win once. We won it over 3 years, at least 2 seasons. So I think that needs to be underlined here. But again, I'm not saying that that's the best team. It was better than most of the teams that I've seen. And I agree with Gautam also that again, there is this shade of nostalgia which actually camouflages our view.
Yeah, I can see that happening. I can see that happening in this coverage.
So Sanket, we have come back to two sides, the 1983 and 2011.
Yeah.
Because both the sides at least kind of won a lot of games and a lot of tournaments in that period. So 2011 World Cup, and then we won the Champions Trophy for the first time.
Yeah.
So that period of about 4 to 5 years, India excelled. And same thing, I mean, good point that Rakesh has raised here, that India after the 1983 World Cup was a very strong side till about 1987, isn't it, Rakesh? So we won the Rothmans Cup in 85. No, the Benson Hedges in 85.
Even that 1987 team, Sabha, if you recall, the 1987 team was a brilliant team. It is just that we faltered in the semi-finals. Otherwise, if you just look at the names, look at the way they were performing, and we should have won the 87 World Cup, in my view, because beating England was not so difficult, and up front was a team where it was a team in transition. I'm talking about Australia under Alan Border. That was not the team which anybody thought that they were going to win the World Cup.
Okay, I'm going to again come back to 2023. Gautam Bhattacharya, you see, this is a team sport, right? It's not an individual sport. So, if you look at the ICC rankings of players, you would spot that a Virat Kohli and a Rahul Sharma may be lower down in the top 10, and a Babar Azam will be right at the very top. But when you see these individuals perform in their team, it's a totally different picture. You see what is happening. I mean, Pakistan is being taken to the cleaners by their supporters back home. And you've got a raging debate in India about us being the best. Whether people agree or not is a different issue, but the debate is pretty much on.
See, what happens is this rolling ranking system which comes from time to time, that reflects a picture of the action just gone by in consideration. I think as somebody said, I mean, when Pakistan came into the Asia Cup, they were the number one ranked ODI team. So that's how it works. But having said that, there is also a cumulative assessment of your last performance. Like Sir Shubman Gill, he has climbed up to number two now in ODIs, despite not having played the first two games. You'll have to live with this. I mean, rankings, sometimes you will possibly forget that who's the best ODI all-rounder is. And if you go there, you may still find, pardon me, and I cannot recall from the top of my head, but you may find that it's Saqib Al-Hasan. So what has Saqib done so far in this World Cup? So this is the problem with the rankings. But on a given day, you have to perform. That's what it is.
ICC rankings are a misnomer, Sanket. In a big
I was about to.
Team rankings is valuable only for qualification purposes. Otherwise, nothing else. Number two, in terms of individual rankings, it just shows the current form of a player.
Yeah.
That is the only significance it has.
It's a tabulation.
Yeah, it is just that. And now whether it is for the World Cup qualification for one-day cricket or for T20, it holds value. Same for ICC Test Championship. Otherwise, it has got no meaning at all.
Okay. Saji wanted to.
Yes, one thing, Sanket, I would like to add here is, once the teams have shrunk to 10 in the ODI World Cup, I mean, each occasion you will possibly see somebody like a West Indies or somebody like a Sri Lanka losing out. So this pool of this competition level that Rakesh was talking about, I mean, that's also going to take a hit in this. I mean, you don't have that many teams of equal strength, like 6-7 teams. It's about the top 4 or 5. And then again, you've got some qualifiers coming in. Either you make room for qualifiers and make it a 12-team affair, but it has been tried before. Then they tried to make it tighter format. So that's another issue. For example, I mean, the West Indies is not there, and they're a shadow of what they had been.
Yeah.
But who knows? With a full strength team of the available, the franchisee players, maybe this World Cup there would have been a different dynamics to it.
Osama, it's been pointed out that for all the matches that we have played in this tournament, India has won these matches chasing.
Yeah.
And that seems to be Mr. Kohli's big strength also. He fames himself as building some amount of pressure to be able to deliver. So, do you feel that all these dynamics will be put to test in the real big contest, the real big challenge, this qualifying round?
It's going to be a good contest between India and South Africa, because South Africa have been doing well batting first, and India have been chasing their totals very easily. So that is one match I'm really looking forward to, because that is where I think we are going to get tested in what we have been doing so far. But as far as a template is concerned, I think Sabhabhai would agree with me, because a lot of teams, when they get into a flow, when they have that momentum, they want to continue doing what they are doing, and is the reason possibly why India is opting to chase and go with that combination and are winning those matches. But yes, it will come down to a situation where India might have to bat first, India might have to change their strategies, etc. And that is where that real test for India is going to happen. And I'm pretty sure it is going to happen in the coming couple of matches.
Then let me ask you this question, Sabha Karim, and then to you, Shaji. What, according to you, will be those contests, the big fights to look forward to, for you to believe and ascertain that, yes, this team was pretty good?
For me, the knockout game straight away, Sanket. I mean, Osama brings up...
What teams should we fear?
South Africa, Australia in the semi-finals, even New Zealand, such a competitive side, high on work ethics. They know how to plan, they know how to execute those plans. So these are very strong sides.
Don't we?
No, we. That's what I'm saying. So the real contest will be in a knockout encounter against any of these sides. But Osama brings up a very valid point. India's test is also when India bat first. But India recently in the Asia Cup did that against Pakistan over 2 days. We scored, we were under pressure, we lost a couple of quick wickets, and again we rebuilt and we managed to put up a very substantial target, which Pakistan failed to achieve. What has happened in the past knockout encounters on ICC event, I'm talking about the World Cups. India has faltered when even when India has to chase 2 down for 30, 40 down, Virat Kohli back in the hut. Can India chase from there? For me, that is the biggest challenge. Because Virat Kohli is one such player, one such match winner, who is always there, always available for the side to score runs, whether it is trying to set a target or even while chasing. The others have got some very important roles to play, I do understand that. But eventually, in knockout encounters, you want this man to fire. So has India prepared for that or not? Is India capable of delivering when India is chasing, say, 315, 320 in a big encounter, Virat Kohli back in the hut, India 2 down for 50? Can India chase from there or not? I think that will be the
do we have
challenge.
That capability which Sabha Karim is talking about?
That's something, Saket, which only time will provide an answer. Honestly, because I'm just imagining the scenario if we extrapolate what Sabhabhai said. So we chasing 350 or 375. South Africa is well capable of doing it. They already posted 400. What happens if Virat Kohli or KL Rahul depart? Then who is the guy? Who is going to be Messiah there? Every time there is something on the law of averages. Every time you can't expect Virat Kohli to win. Every time you can't expect KL Rahul to pull you out of the woods or a Rohit Sharma to fire. Which brings us back to the original question: is this the best team? Because is there depth? The middle order, I think one of the persons had, I think the Shiva, if I know, he had written very clearly the middle order. The middle order to me seems to be the sort of a point of concern, if not a red flag. Because right now everything is pre-scripted, it's all going well for you, it's all going honky-dory for you. What if that imponderables happen? Then what happens?
Like hopefully India's strong bowling attack does not allow this to happen.
That's exactly.
Best bowling attack.
Exactly. So that preempts.
Rakesh Rao, what do you have to say? I mean, one thing that a lot of commentators seem to feel is going for this team is a very good sense of camaraderie.
That is an obvious thinking, isn't it? I mean, I saw in one of the shows that you're talking about how cool the guys are with one another. Sanket, these are the days of social media, and that is meant for social media. It's being fed. So, irrespective of how A feels about B, this is what you're going to see. And don't read too much into it. Trust my words. Sabha knows it only too well, but then of course he is on the other side of the line. Firmly, he has pitched
Practicing diplomacy.
on the other side. So it's fine. No,
But you know what,
point here
Rakesh?
is,
I mean, winning side.
Just look at the irony of it all. On one hand, we are saying, and the majority, you said 50% of the people feel that there's the best team, and the very thought of losing Virat Kohli early in a chase, or Virat and Rahul early, and exposing our middle order, he suddenly feels, what are we going to do? Are we really seriously on the same debate that is this the best team? And 50% of the people saying that this is the best team? Yeah. This is ironical. What they expect is that India to do it. And also, I just want to add one small thing here. Osama said that he's looking forward to the India-South Africa game and what will happen. Nothing is going to happen because the toss is irrelevant there. Bavuma wins the toss, he elects to bat. Rohit wins the bat, he'll chase. Period. Finished. Because both, they don't want to get out of their comfort zone just because they want to pull the other team out of their comfort zone. So let's get very clear about this. And you want those 2 points. You're not here to experiment. And also, I'm not in the favor of India opting to bat first just because it hasn't batted first. The point here is, as and when the opposition asks you to bat, you bat first. As simple as that. You are ready for it. I mean, these are professional cricketers. They know how to win either by batting first or by chasing down a target. So I think this whole argument all over the country, and there are people who say India should lose now. Oh, that's a brilliant suggestion. Why do you have to lose in order to learn? You don't have to lose. You can still learn.
No,
you can say, okay, these are the areas.
I've also heard this argument in the newsroom.
It is
that
really,
you must lose a little, get a little shock laga, and then after that move on.
I think that is a reflection of our psyche.
I know.
Sanket, that is the way we Indians are. अच्छा हो गया, अब चुप हो जाओ. बहुत हंसे मत because ऊपर वाला रुलाता है आपको ज़्यादा हंसो.
No, I think it all came from MS Dhoni's statement.
So it is just like that.
I think sometime back he said this. It's good to lose one game in your World Cup campaign to win.
Precisely.
It doesn't happen with Australia. Yeah. They dominated the entire tournament to win. So why can't India do that?
Sabha, that is exactly what I'm saying. Australia showed that yes, you don't have to lose to learn. You can win all and still learn from it and keep on winning.
Yeah.
Sports is about winning and losing, right? It is not about losing by choice.
Okay, I've run out of time. Extremely engaging conversation, and what I gather after listening to all you learned men is that hold your horses. Don't declare this the best team just yet. Let them prove and earn it for themselves. Right?
There was also a pause before you said learn it.
Yes, Mr. Sodhi. Last word.
Yeah, just one point that Virat Kohli should not be back in the hut early as Sabha has been talking. But if we are winning this World Cup, the keys are in the hands of Virat Kohli. So he has to be on the crease.
In the true Indian spirit, nazar mat lagao.
Fingers crossed.
Thank you very much for joining us.
You said it, Sanket.
Yes, very, very engaging conversation. Had great fun. Thank you very much. We come to the end of the Big Fight. News continues on the other side. Stay tuned.